Hi everyone, welcome to Book of Magic. I'm Amy Figueroa and I have a cold, but I wanted to show you how to create the cutest little owl accordion journal that I made. Here she is, super cute. And I just want to give you a quick tutorial on how to make this, so stay tuned. You are going to need a 12 by 12 piece of craft paper. You can use any color. I have this light pink color here. I'm going to use white acrylic paint, some red, and burnt sienna, Liquitex acrylic ink, a pencil, and probably a black Micron pen. You can use anything you want, but this is just what I'm going to be using today. So to start with, we are going to fold our piece of paper in half. And then, let's see, we're going to measure about 3.5 inches. I don't really do everything very precise. It's just a rough estimate there. And then we're going to tear. You could cut, but I tore mine, the first one I made. Just as close as you can to those marks. And that's good. This happens to have a sticker on it. Alright, cool, that came off really well. Okay, now we have our paper. It's folded in half. We are going to make 2 folds. Flip it. This is that center fold. Bringing the outer edge to match the center. Line up with it. And fold. So now you have this accordion here. Then we're going to work with the outer edge. We're going to fold it in and match that crease, but we're not going to press down too much here. We're just giving ourselves a light tap, a little bit of a crease there, because now we're going to cut our heart. And we want to make this heart kind of wide. So I'm going to draw it on for myself. Thinking about a heart, but also keep in mind the face of an owl. Then give this a cut. See. Okay, very good. With the other end, we're going to fold it in to the crease there and just gently pat it. We don't want to make too much of a crease in it. And now we have this pattern that we can use here and trace. Yeah, I'm going on 2 weeks with a cold. I'm doing everything I possibly could do because I hate to be sick. And it's just not going away, which is also frustrating. Okay, let's just make our, what can I use? I have my scissors here. I'm just going to run it down the crease here. Something that a bone folder would do if you have that. I don't have that, so this is working okay. Here is the example. So what we're going to do is we're going to trace the heart onto the page underneath it with our pencil, just very lightly. Flip it and do the other side. Okay. All right, so for the body, the head is kind of flat across the top and then kind of rounds out. We're going to try to keep the body inside the margins of the edge here. Something like that. You don't have to do yours this dark. I'm just doing it so that you can see it. Let's see. It's probably not, it's better to do it as light as you possibly can so that when you paint it, you don't see your pencil lines. Okay, let's practice that again. These don't have to be identical. They're two different owls, of course. They're similar, but not identical. They're little friends. They're besties. Sometimes we look a lot like our besties. Sometimes we don't. Okay, to avoid it looking kind of boxy, you can just work on the little rounding of the edge there. Okay. Now we're gonna open and we're gonna do the same thing. See this here, for example. I'm just kind of making it flat, like right here in the middle, and then the edges will curve around. And then you're just trying to keep it inside those margins again. Try and get them close to the same height. This is just your little guide because you're going to be painting over this soon. Now we're going to draw the face, and this is going to be our reference here. So the easiest way to do this is to draw a very light line down the middle and separate the face into two halves. And then your beak is going to stop. You need to make a dot. That's going to be the tip of your beak. And it's going to come up into this really kind of narrow diamond shape. Okay, and then from these points on the diamond, come out a little bit, up. Do this very lightly. Okay, gonna do it again. Gonna come out over here. Try to come out as far as you did on the first side. We're gonna come up very lightly. I'm just kind of scratching my way. Nothing is precise because I'm gonna be tightening this up here in a minute. So something like this. Okay. Now, for our eyes, we're going to define the eye shape. I'm thinking very circular right now. And I'm just lightly scratching, trying to make this as circular as possible. And now I'll give it an eyelid. The eyelid can be slightly slanted. And then the eyeball, leaving room all the way around it. Try your best to get the other one as close as possible. They're not identical, and that's okay. And we'll probably do this black. Let me make a U shape. But this can be adjusted when we paint. Okay. And then you might want to, when you slant the eye, kind of make this line out here. That's super cute. Okay, and then the details we'll do when we paint. Let's try again. We're gonna make the line down the center. This is gonna be erased later. And the bottom too. Actually, let's just do that really quick. Just erase inside here and down here. But we're gonna leave this line up here because that's gonna help us to add in our little furry feathers. Okay. So we're going to put the tip of our beak here. Go up with this narrow, try to keep it as narrow as possible. And then the point of your diamond, you're gonna come straight out and then start curving up. Same thing here, straight out, start curving up. Then you're gonna make this rainbow shape. And now you can look at them and kind of adjust, see if you can get them close to similar. Okay. We're making the circle for the eye. And then we're going to do an eyelid. We'll do the eyeball. And you can definitely adjust these when you're painting. This got a little bit dark. Let's see. Let me just lighten this up. As long as you're not pressing down too hard, you can go back and I'm going to make these eyes bigger. So I think they were too small. Make a little bit bigger. There we go. It's going to be up to you if you think your eyes look too big or too small. They're super cute when they're big, but not too big. These are smaller, these are bigger. I like the bigger ones. All right, let's move over to painting now. I'm using this brush. It's pretty small with my white acrylic paint and just filling in the body here. Just gonna go all the way around, fill this in, and do this for both owls. These are all filled in, and I still have some white paint on my brush, so I'm gonna wipe most of it off and do this kind of dry brush technique here. Just lightly, the inside of the face. Get a little bit more, wipe it off. And I'll probably come back and add some more of this in a little bit. So I'm adding some white, wipe it off of my brush, and then just lightly kind of wipe the paint off of my brush here onto the paper. Also, I'm going to add a little bit to the eyelid. Next, I will use this tiny little brush. It's a 5, to do the outlining with the burnt sienna color. And I'm doing this outline not with one straight line, but in a very sketchy manner. Lots of little lines. It looks like feathers. It helps so that you don't have to get a perfectly straight line for it to look good. For those curved lines, I can turn the journal. This line down the middle, I'm going to make these lines here. Also going to do that on top of my pencil lines here. And I'm going to fill in the beak. Next, I go up across the eyelid, go around it, make some lines around like this. First, you just outline the eye. And then you go back and add the extra lines. This can look kind of messy, and they don't have to match exactly. Then I'm painting in the eyeball with this color. And also we'll add this little kind of divider of feathers. Looks super cute. Gonna outline. And just remember, if you need to, you can turn your journal so that you can get a nice curved line. Rest your hand on the table. You can make this motion here. You can do this anyway, really. Just making these kind of lines and following my pencil line. Now fill in the beak. And then outline the eye first. Again. Paint in the eyeball. And then our feathers. Super cute. Let's move on to the Micron pen for details. Once these are dry, you can get your Micron pen and outline the details. I'm just gonna go over the top of my pencil lines that are already there. And then outline the beak. I'm using that tiny brush again with my acrylic white, and I'm just going to put a dot in the same spot on each eye. If we want to put a smaller dot somewhere else, just repeat it in the exact same spot, each eye. Okay. This part is optional, but I'm going to use my favorite neon red for the cheeks, and I'm using a bigger brush, and the brush is dry. I'm going to do the dry brush technique where I load up the paint on my scratch paper. I'm going to wipe most of it off, and then just gonna scratch it on the cheeks here. Let's do it again, loading up the brush, wiping most of it off, and give it a little scratch, pushing down. It's supposed to look messy. Oh, they're so cute. And as you can see, you're using the same techniques, but they never really look exactly alike, but they're all so cute. So now let's flip it over, and we're going to paint their jackets. They look like this. Let's see. Let's see it. Back to our brush again. What's this? And now we're painting our jackets. I have a scratch paper underneath this so that I can paint over the edges easily. Just filling this in with white. And I'm going to do the same with the other side. Next, we're going to go back to our small brush, and we're using the red acrylic ink. I'm going to outline the body just like we did the other ones. And we're going to give it the feathers here. You could really dress or paint this anyway. It's just like a jacket for your owl. Since it's close to Valentine's Day, we're doing hearts, but you could really do anything with it. It could be like a jacket that has different kind of ears or something. I don't know. Just putting some little hearts. And the easy way to do hearts is to just do 2 lines really, and then kind of adjust it. Other side. I'm gonna go up at an angle. Get your heart in. Okay, we're all done. And this is what we have. So now it's your time to tell a little story in your journal, and you can use found poetry that you see in magazines or books. You can make up your own poem or a little note. You can tell a little story from the beginning, from one page to the next as you turn, and then you can just open it and there'll be story here, and then you have a story in the back. So cute. This is has a Valentine theme, but you could also use like any color paper and do any kind of theme you want. This could be like forest or fairy tale or something like that, and we are all done. Thank you for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and that inspires you to make a journal like this. This is a really cute closure with a paper clip and some lace. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and give this video a like. I will be back next week with more art journal inspiration for you. See you then.